It's the Ohio State Buckeyes at the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. This is a battle of the blue bloods. Been waiting for this one for a while. Not going to lie to you. Sam Hartman faces off against Kyle McCord in the Buckeyes at Touchdown Jesus. Well. I remember a game a few years ago where the University of Georgia went out to Notre Dame, and it was one of the best college football atmospheres that I've seen in a long time. Probably since, there's been games here and there. It was a damn good one. And it was because Notre Dame fans sold all their tickets to the Georgia Bulldogs fans. And it was about 60% Georgia fans in the stadium that day. And they all paid about $1,000 a head to get in that thing. Hopefully Notre Dame's not doing that this year, because I just want to say this right now. I want to get this out there. Notre Dame is a national championship contender for real this year. It's not like the Notre Dame in the past, in my opinion. This is what I'm seeing right now. This is not like Notre Dame of the past, where it's like, oh, yeah, but that schedule and they're independent and, they got to go undefeated to get in. I don't think they have to go undefeated this year. I think they could lose a close game here and they could still make the playoff. Obviously it's going to make it a lot tougher, and they have a difficult schedule. They got to play USC later in the year. So they want to hold on to that, that insurance game in their pocket. But Ohio State is favored in this game by 3 points. And I'll just be honest with you, I just don't see it. What do you see in this game, Mason? Because I'm not seeing it, buddy. I'm on Notre Dame -3 here, or +3 here. How are you feeling about this one?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and put my pick out there first, and then I'll explain it. I'm with you on this one. I think it's Notre Dame +3. I think that's the right side of this in this game. Notre Dame is at home. I don't think this is going to be a 2017 Notre Dame versus Georgia type of atmosphere. I do think that Ohio State fans are going to find ways to get in. It's not going to be all blue and gold, right? But and before I go into this breakdown, you mentioned Notre Dame being able to lose a game, right? If they win this game, they're immediately going to be in my top 5. They will. I had Ohio State in my playoffs. I would change Notre Dame and Ohio State, and obviously, with me picking Notre Dame at this point, I'm obviously leaning more towards that reality, I guess. So, but Notre Dame does still have to play Florida State and Clemson on top of the rest of their schedule,
and USC.
I'm sorry. That's what I meant to say. Is it's not Florida State. It's USC and Clemson that they have left. They don't play Florida State. So they could realistically drop one of those 3 games and still make it. However, they're going to be relying heavily on somebody else to screw up, right? If you have 4 other undefeated conference champions, you're not in at that point. So not with the way these conferences are going right now. There's a contender in every conference. So, it is a challenge for them. I think that they're able to get the win today. If they win all 3, they're in, whether they lose another game or not. In my opinion, like that, those are 3 of the biggest wins of the season if they're able to pull it off. I have a feeling they're going to be able to beat Ohio State. I think they're really going to struggle against USC, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that down the road. But all right, so for this game, you can see Ohio State, their passing offense has been pretty great. Not as great as usual. They're still figuring things out at quarterback with Kyle McCord. He's a young guy. He's kind of getting his feet under him. He's figuring things out. And you really saw that last week when they put up 63 points last week. The rushing offense, TreVeyon Henderson is kind of coming back. Last season, he pretty much played the whole season hurt and wasn't as effective as a result. So this year, he's kind of doing it. He's doing it a lot better than he did last year. That's for sure. So that's leading to a scoring offense of 20th in the country at 40.3 points per game. That's going to go up. I'm pretty confident in saying that that's going to go up as the season goes along. I think they're playing a lot better football, like I mentioned. So scoring defense. This has been the biggest upgrade, right, for Ohio State. It's on the defensive side of the ball, and this is what everybody has been clamoring for. If Ohio State has a top 20 defense, then they're going to win the national championship because their offense is just that good. Their wide receivers are just that good. They just have to have the complementary defense to go along with this high octane offense. Well, so far they're doing it. 6.7 points per game. They ain't played nobody. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you that. That number is going to go up for sure, but that's good for second in the country at this point. Rushing defense, 16th in the country, under 3 yards per carry. That's outstanding. That's a huge turnaround. 7th in pass defense at 140.3 yards per game. That number will go up after this game for sure. So these are all really good stats, right? The rest of them are pretty average. Nothing to really glean from the rest of the stats there. Then we go over to Notre Dame. And similar stats, and I'll kind of save, going into each one individually. I'm gonna get to my take and the reason for my take here. Similar stats, not quite as good as Ohio State, right? But you got to remember, Notre Dame's already played 4 games, right? So they already have another sample size, another point to draw from. So a little bit different there, a little bit of a tougher schedule probably if you were to break it down. But ultimately, what decides this game to me, right? These are 2 complete teams. They got a great offense, great defense. They're both contenders in the national championship. As of right now, at least, I think there's a slight edge to Ohio State's defense at this point, and a slight edge to Notre Dame's offense at this point. So what it really comes down to me, is experience at the quarterback position. And you know where I'm going with this, right? It's Sam Hartman. He's in his 17th year of college football, right? And he comes over to Notre Dame, and it looks like he's played, all of his, realistically, his 5 years of college football. It looks like he's played all of them with Notre Dame. I mean, he just fit right in. So I think that his experience is gonna be what wins this game over Kyle McCord's experience. And it's kind of awkward, but we do this all the time. We pin a quarterback versus a quarterback, but it is what it is. I think that Sam Hartman is more efficient against against the Ohio State defense, and I think that ultimately ends up winning them the game. So give me Notre Dame to cover the 3 points and win, and they're my money line pick for the week. I think that's a pretty easy one, but that's what I'm rolling with.
Gotcha. So are you betting on the spread also, or are you just going money line?
I'm going both. So +3 and the money line.
Gotcha. Yeah, so this one is going to come down to quarterback, I do believe. So what do we know about Kyle McCord? Not a whole hell of a lot. It seems to me like the last 2 weeks Ohio State has found their stride a little bit. I will say that, but this Notre Dame team has started off hitting the ground running since day one this year, and I think the defenses are very comparable. One thing that also concerns me is this Ohio State offensive line. I'm waiting on somebody to put some pressure on this thing, and I'm interested to see if it's going to fold up or not. There's some players on Ohio State's offensive line that probably don't have any business starting on what we would figure to be a national championship caliber team. Specifically at tackle, got a transfer player that came in from a really small school and is starting, and it always kind of concerns me a little bit whenever I see that, because these big programs, you shouldn't be going and getting starting offensive linemen from the portal unless they're just a really highly touted guy. And in this case, I wouldn't consider this guy to be that. But I'm interested to see how Ohio State can run the ball. Are they going to be able to run the ball on Notre Dame? I I don't know. I am concerned for them about that, and for that reason, I am also taking Notre Dame +3